My afternoon greetings to everyone. Of course, allow me to recognize our two Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, Dr. Marina Salamanca and Dr. Casiana Caberti, our OIC Chief for Curriculum Implementation Division, Dr. Carmila Restificar, and to all our education program supervisors and public schools district supervisors. Once again, good afternoon. Well, honestly, this morning, past 10 o'clock in the morning, I received a chat message from Dr. Evelyn Codilla asking my presence virtually as you conduct your opening program for this activity at around 11 o'clock. However, I declined to head the request of Dr. Codilla, considering that I was in a bank premises during the time. And my dear supervisors, both education program supervisors and district supervisors, it is a good start for the year 2021 that you are having this capability building for the district supervisors and the division supervisors. I was able to sign the approval of this activity several days ago, and I know supposedly this was to be conducted in December, but because of the challenges that we are still facing, the challenges on the threat of COVID-19, wherein in the month of December, activities on face-to-face activities were cancelled or were not allowed by the province. So that is why you are having it today and tomorrow. Well, looking at the activity metrics sent to me by Dr. Cordelia, I noticed that you have a lot of things to do today and tomorrow. You will be working on your, of course, for today, I understand that you will be discussing on the mental health and mental wellness, as well as you will be having different capability building activities and kumustahan activities. And tomorrow, you will have another activities on performance management, on the research agenda, as well as you will work out on your IPCR. Well, speaking of your performance management, it is of course in connection with whatever plans and activities that you will be doing for the year 2021. When it comes to research agenda, I just would like to remind everyone that as I mentioned, or I informed especially our division management team, when I told them what transpired during our regional management committee meeting or regional management conference, that one of the major strategic directions of the regional office 7, is on the or in making research as a way of life for DepEd Region 7. So considering that we are part of DepEd Region 7, we have to see to it that our activities will be aligned with the activities or directions of the regional office. So speaking of research agenda, as suggested by our regional office through ERD Cristito Eco, that hopefully our senior education program specialist in the SGOD for planning and research can connect with our higher universities and colleges, so that there will be alignment with the research agenda of our Department of Education, the DepEd Bohol, as well as our universities and colleges. When we speak of research agenda, that means that what will be our focus, especially for us in Bohol. Like for instance, if we saw the need to have a lot of researches on how to improve the reading ability of our learners, and that's it. If that will be the case, then therefore our research agenda, our research focus will be on that area, on the reading improvement of our learners. So that's it. I just hope that you can work on this aspect, especially that your role is very important, very critical, and without the what we call this without the full support or efforts of all the division supervisors or program education program supervisors and district supervisors, the real mandate of the Department of Education will not be put into reality. And so I am hoping that with this new year 2021, we can continue and your desire to give the 100% support to the programs and projects of DPD Bohol will continue, and we can again ensure that our primary client, our learners, will be given that what we call the quality basic education even this time of pandemic. So considering that your task now or your activity today and tomorrow is on capability building, however, to my mind, it is not purely or a plain capability building, because I'm sure most of you, if not all, are already in the job for months or years, and so you have already the knowledge and skills and the right attitude of being the division program supervisors and district supervisors. And so perhaps this activity today and tomorrow will be more of what we call capability enhancement. You are capacitated already, you are aware already, you have enough in your bucket to deliver your mandate, but probably there is a need to enhance so that we can have it more aligned and ready, or we are ready to face more challenges in the coming days. So my dear district supervisors and division supervisors, just allow me to read. I will not memorize, but I will just read a certain topic that I read from the book written by Richard Carlson. This is the book is entitled "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff." Just allow me one portion or one article written in this book, and I believe that this is more or less fitting to what we will be doing today and tomorrow. This is entitled, the article is entitled "Embrace All Aspects of Your Job," and let me read it. As written by Richard Carlson. I was in San Francisco doing a day-long seminar with my good friend and colleague. After the event was over, I went to the parking lot to pick up my car. As I was about to pay my parking fee and exit the facility, the strangest thing happened. The parking fee was around $20. The only bill in my wallet was a $100 bill. What's the big deal, you might ask? Well, to the parking attendant, it was a really big deal. Rather than express his concern politely or gracefully, he blurted out, "You must have something smaller." To which I replied, "Unfortunately, sir, I don't. I'm really sorry." In a near rage, he yelled out, "Oh, that's just great. I'm going to have to go see my manager. I don't have that much change. You're going to have to sit here." God help me. I can't believe it. I found the experience a bit amusing. After all, one of the major parts of this man's job was to give change to customers. Obviously, if there wasn't enough change for any single transaction, that would have to be dealt with. But after all, that was part of the job. As with every other job on the face of the earth, there are aspects of it that simply go with the territory. Parking cars and having chains seem to go hand in hand. It seemed to me that his being so upset was a bit like a snow shoveler complaining about snow that needed to be shoveled, or a telephone operator complaining about the number of calls coming in from customers needing help with their phone calls. This employee, like so many of us, thinks of most of the things he does as if they were items to be checked off a list. I call this tendency being list-oriented. Being list-oriented. Someone who is list-oriented feels good when something is taken off his list, and feels annoyed or frustrated when there is an obstacle that prevents him from doing so. The parking attendant, for example, probably saw me as just another part of his list. As he saw it, his job was to take my money and get me out of the garage. The fact that he didn't have enough change became his obstacle. It came between him and his list completion. The problem with this type of mentality is that inherent within it is a great deal of frustration. If you're list oriented, for example, and you're working on a project or trying to make a sale, you're going to feel good only when the project or sale is complete, and then only if it meets your expectations. But what if things don't work out according to plan? And even if they do, what about all the time between the start of the project and the end result? The work itself, including the hassles, obstacles, and disappointments, is what life and work are all about. Therein lies the bulk of your time. Yet, sadly, I've met so many people who don't ever seem to enjoy the process. They work, negotiate and struggle, make things happen, and take risk and so forth, but never enjoy a single moment. Then, when the process comes to an end, they evaluate whether or not they did well enough and either feel good or bad, depending on their perception. What pressure? The option is to view your day-to-day experiences, tasks, and responsibilities not only as items to be checked off your list, but rather as part of a process. To see it all as necessary and interesting. This alternate way of looking at your activities might be called being process oriented. In other words, rather than focusing on and being driven only by the end result, you become interested in the entire experience, however it happens to unfold. It all becomes, as philosopher Ram Dass calls it, grace, grist for the meal, or part of the overall story. Obviously, you will always prefer that your daily activities go smoothly, successfully, and without a hitch or hassle. But when you become process oriented, you're no longer dependent on that occurring. You end up enjoying the process as well as the result. When life is looked at this way, you become far less likely to sweat the small stuff. In addition, of course, This makes for a far more interesting experiences of life. Being more process-oriented allows you to embrace each aspect of the experience, whatever you're doing, without feeling like it's a great big hassle. You'll be less annoyed by the people you work with as you embrace all aspects of your job. So, whatever it is that you do for a living, see if you can become less attached and zeroed in on the end result or outcome, and instead become more engaged in each moment along the way. My guess is that you'll not only enjoy your work more than ever and experience far less stress, but in addition, you'll actually become more effective and successful as well. Once again, to all of you, good afternoon, Happy New Year, and good luck to our future directions of Dipit Bohol for the year 2021. Have a nice day, everyone.